Next slide, please, too.
Welcome, everyone, to the regular meeting for the municipality of Spaniards Bay, Tuesday, April 14th, 2026. I'll now call this meeting to order. I think we have to start off with some amendments.
Yes. I would like to make an amendment underneath finance for a tax reduction request.
So that's under 6A, and we'll put that to the bottom under check register. On the
Yes.
agenda, okay?
And I also want to add 2 under planning. Number C, under planning, a new build at Jack Pine, Phase 1. And G, under planning also, a new build at Jack Pine, Phase 2. And that's good for me, Your Worship.
I've got a couple of amendments also. Number 1, I'd like to remove number 9 from the agenda
Okay.
based on what the others have received. Add that in now.
Nope, just one more minute on that one.
Okay.
Okay, so we're removing number 9 on the agenda.
I'd also like to amend the wording on number 12. The wording is not how we put the item into the agenda. It specifies Ryan's Road,
Okay,
but it's supposed to be various roads.
okay,
Ryan's Road is one of them that I want to discuss, but there is other ones, so it's not specific to Ryan's Road.
okay. So we'll remove Ryan's Road and put down,
I can tell you the wording of it if you want, of what I had put in. Discussion on providing snow clearing and garbage removal services to roads throughout the town that pay full municipal taxes but do not currently receive these services. So this specific to Ryan's Road is not there. I want to make that clear because the purpose is to discuss.
okay,
And also, there was also another item I had put in there, but it didn't make the agenda. I think it was discussed in the meeting in a whole, was to discuss reasons or a discussion around the code of compliance for using ballroom downstairs.
okay. So
And I can word that, I can give you the wording that I had in that also, if you want.
All right, we'll put that under fire department, under D/B.
Okay.
All right. You want to read
Want to read that out or?
Sure.
Discussion on a path forward to utilize the ballroom in the lower level of council building, including what is required to bring the space up to fire code.
Thank you, sir. Is that all for amendments?
Yes.
Okay. I'll now call for a motion to adopt the agenda as amended.
I'll put in for a motion to adopt the agenda as amended for April 14th.
I'll second that motion.
It's been motioned by Councillor Longigan, seconded by Councillor Smith to adopt the agenda as amended. All in favor of the motion?
Okay.
Aye. The motion is carried.
So, yeah, so based on removal of number 9, we'll do today's letter.
All right, and I'll get our CAO to read that out.
Says, I, Councillor Shepherd, would like to rescind the motion of September 19th, 2026. It was moved by Deputy Mayor Brazel, seconded by Councillor Dewar to enforce the regulations of no alcohol in the town's recreation center to include all buildings and facilities owned by the municipality.
Excuse me, Your Worship, was that 2026?
It says here September 19th,
2026? Should be 25.
Oh, is that?
Changing to September 19th, 2025.
Okay. So that item will be placed on the agenda at the next public meeting. Council to vote on and discuss. All right, we'll move on to number 2. We have a visiting group, a resident from New Harbor Road, and we have a large amount of residents attending our meeting tonight in support. And I'll give the floor to you, Mrs. Welch.
Good evening, everybody. Hope people down in the back can hear me. I have a presentation here. I don't know if you want to stand up in the back and have a look, or I can post it online. First of all, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Kim Welch. I've been a resident of Spaniards Bay since 1989 when I moved here. My husband and I moved here just as we were married. I retired back in 2021 from Ascension Collegiate, where I taught for 21 years. So this is the first time I've attended a council meeting, and I'm sure it's perhaps the first time for many, and perhaps the first time with our newly elected council. So on behalf of these residents and other residents in our town, thank you for your service. I know it's not always an easy job dealing with the public, but I appreciate your efforts and the work that you do for our town. Special welcome to our new town manager, Alicia. I don't know her personally, but as my father would say, I think she comes from good stock. I was the teacher who filled in for her mother when her mother was on maternity leave. I don't know who it was with Alicia or her sister Ilanda, but thank you folks for allowing me to come and share some concerns that have been spoken, on New Harbor Road, but I'm sure they come from other residents in the town as well. I'm going to sit down to do this just so that I don't block anyone's view. And I thank council for giving me 20 minutes to speak. It may not take that long, but I do want to just share with you some concerns and comments. I think we all realize that as a council and as a town, it's incumbent on us to work together to do what we can to make our community a wonderful place to live. And I think our town has a lot of potential. And I think that with all of us working together and supporting one another, we can certainly reach that potential. So some of you have seen this petition on Facebook. I'm not going to read aloud to you. I know a lot of you have seen it already and have signed it. I have presented that to Mayor Oliver for her viewing and for the viewing of council. And I've noted that when other people from outside the community have made comments, they weren't counted in numbers, or if somebody signed somebody else's name without their permission, I did not count those in numbers either. But, as I said, all of you have seen it. It is posted on my Facebook page. I've made it public, and it just basically gives a view of how we feel about access to water. So what I'm going to share with you now are just some comments that have come from different people. So one of the first things is fire safety. And recently up on the main road, the Taekwondo building, there was a fire, unfortunately. And at the time of that fire, we had absolutely no water. Some people might have had low water pressure. I had zero water. Given the situation that we all went through last summer with fires, I can't tell you how frightening that was, how alarming and how disturbing it was. Low pressure can compromise fire hydrant effectiveness and emergency response capabilities, and that's top priority for a lot of people. Another thing is personal hygiene. I've heard so many people say, I can't even get a shower because I don't have enough water pressure. And that's been repeated multiple times throughout. One of the most, I guess, emotionally charged stories I heard were from a couple of senior residents. Widows in the community who live alone. They're aging, their health is not always good, their physical capabilities are not always good, and having to run off bodies of water, lift bodies of water, go up and down the stairs because the washing machine shut off, because the water shut off. They got to get dirt and rocks and whatever out of the pipes, and how hard they find it is also very disturbing. We also have a lot of seniors in our community who unfortunately are sick. They either receive home care services or they have family members looking after them. And in the cases especially of two residents that I was made aware of, they're both elderly, I would say probably in their early 80s, maybe mid 80s. The wife takes care of the husband. It causes her great stress when she has very little water pressure or no water at all and has to have access to water for his physical needs, for his hygiene needs, and whatever. It causes great stress for them. I've heard people talking about their appliances, their washers, their dishwashers, their hot water boilers, their, various household appliances being affected because of the water issues. Loss of income for businesses that rely on water, specifically hair salons. I had one business owner tell me that she lost, and I would assume, she didn't give me a figure, but I've known what generally people pay in this area for hair color, $50. So if you got 4 or 5 colors booked for that day, you're out $200, $250. And in a small business, that happens 4 times a month. That's your profit, I would imagine. And that's your income. That's what you rely on to pay your bills. Low pressure and intermittent or no water supply. We hear that quite often. And I've been, as I said in the beginning, I've been living here for a number of years, since 1989. When I got married, I rented an apartment on Fowler's Road until I decided that Spaniards Bay was the community where I wanted to live and raise my children. And we built our own home. And I can remember when my children were small, and people here my age may remember the Crazy Daisy, a little piece of foam that hooked up to the garden hose. On a hot summer day, you'd hook it up to the garden hose and the daisy would go crazy and the kids would run to the sprinkler. My kids never had an opportunity to do that at 180B New Harbor Road because I never ever had enough water pressure to do it. On hot days, I brought them to Trinity Bay to their grandparents' homes or brought them to friends' houses who had water pressure. And that really sticks with me. So it's not just the past couple of months, but I will say that since November, there has been, this has been an ongoing issue. You can't run multiple appliances at the same time. And I'll speak to this one myself. My laundry is in the basement. In my kitchen, I have a dishwasher. Can't run both of them at the same time. Lots of times when the water pressure is very low. You can't always access drinking water reliably when there's shutoffs. And of course, that involves extra costs and charges for bottled water. And I did hear that there was somebody in our area that was recently 4 days without water. Reduced property values. I said I wouldn't want a prospective buyer to see the pressure coming from my tap, so it would be an automatic red flag. I had a video, and unfortunately I couldn't get it uploaded, just to show you what the water is like coming out of my sink. If I decided before I go to bed, at nighttime I'm going to get a shower, and then in the morning, as soon as I get up, go in the bathroom to wash my hair, can't do it. The water pressure is just not there. I have to ask my husband, fill up a bowl or a jug, and come in and pour the water down over my head in the sink. And I've been told by a longtime resident, she remembers when the original infrastructure was put there, and I think the number she gave me was 54 years ago. And my husband, just as a side note, my husband said he's pretty sure his father worked on the lawn when it was put there, and he remembers as a little boy coming over to Spaniards Bay while his father was working for the day. Oh, sorry, I'm going to go back. So my question that was asked, is there another water supply or are there other pipes or whatever that we could tie into? I don't know. And I will say this to you that, this information is stuff I've gathered from different people. It's been my interpretation of documents that I've read, and I will stand current corrected. I'm not somebody who thinks I know it all just because I happen to be a teacher and, have education. So if any member of council wants to, hold me accountable, say, where did you get that information, or correct me in any way, I'm totally open to that. It's just my perspective. So what I'd like to know is, has council availed of all the available grants and funding options that are available? For instance, the Municipal Capital Works Program, the Multi-Year Capital Works Program, Provincial Cost Share Enhancements, and I understand that's an excellent one to apply for. It's important for small towns with failing water systems. And then, of course, we have federal and provincial cost share programs, the Canada Housing Infrastructure Fund, Newfoundland Labrador allocation for this, to my knowledge, is somewhere around $123 million over 10 years. And this program has a strong focus on replacing aging systems. The Investing in Canada, English teacher should have picked up on that mistake. The Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program, this is winding down, but I think there are still funds available to be allocated. And Canada Community Building Fund, or the Gas Tax Fund. Most of these programs are cost shared amongst all three levels of government, federal, provincial, and municipal, from what I understand, and again, I stand to be corrected. If council has not applied for these funds, do you plan to do so, and when? And we understand that council doesn't have excess funds. However, and I said at the beginning that you guys got a tough job, and you're never going to please everybody. And working with the public is very difficult. But my purpose tonight is to share with you some of the comments and some of the current concerns that I've heard. For example, regional enforcement. Cost share with Bay Roberts and North River. Our share is $19,035. So what's being enforced? Is there a report of enforcement activity? Or how is this expenditure saving tax dollars? And does this enforcement bring any revenue to our town? The animal control. Share between our town, Clark's Beach, and North River, in the amount of $49,120. Of that amount, we are paying $26,000. And again, I stand to be corrected on those numbers, but they're my interpretation of what I saw online. Given the fact that I've seen multiple posts on Facebook where residents have been catching dogs and searching for the rightful owners, I must ask, is there a need for taxpayer dollars to be spent on this service? A $16,600 budgeted for travel expenses for council members. How often are members traveling to meetings and conventions? And what direct positive impact is that attendance having on improving our town? And I'm in no way suggesting no attendance. This is a great learning opportunity for you. I know when councilors attend these meetings and conferences, you're bringing back valuable information. You're hearing about what other towns are doing and it's working for them. But I'm asking, is all travel essential, or is it essential for more than one member to attend out-of-town meetings, conventions, or conferences? Or could, rather than several go, could maybe just one go and bring it all back? I know $6,500 for tourism. I'm not sure if there is a tourism committee, but is there any evidence to show that monies allocated in the past have brought tourism revenue into the town? And we're all Newfoundlanders here. We know that we rely on tourism. It brings in a lot of money to our community. So I kind of looked at this twofold. Is it too much or is it not enough? And when I look at some of the tourist activities that are taking place in neighboring towns, and we have a rich history here in the municipality of Spaniards Bay. So again, I'm just asking the questions. And we understand that you don't have excess funds. You got money coming in and you got money going out. And we don't want council in the red. We really don't. I mean, nobody, whether you're a household, a town, a province, a country, everybody likes to have a balanced budget. That's without debate. But I want you to understand our frustration about where our tax dollars are being spent. And I think one of the big sources of frustration, and it has nothing to do with anybody here sitting on council, but it's a sore spot in the eyes of many. I want you to understand that although you can't turn back time, you must ensure moving forward that unnecessary expenditure should not be undertaken unless they are going to be 100% assured to positively impact our town, and that all agreements put in place must be given assurances that we will not be responsible for paying back debts that result in no benefit to our town. For example, the 2026 budget document shows that the town is responsible for loan payments to Scotiabank, matures in 2030, in the amount of $113,781.89 annually, or by my math, $94.81.82 per month. It's my understanding that this loan was taken out to pay for the placement of water and sewer services to the Veterans Memorial Development Park. I don't know if that's correct. I'd love to know if it's correct. But everything else aside, folks, every time somebody drives past that empty lot up there, and you know what? It was a great idea. And as I said, you guys weren't a member of council when that was decided upon and approved and whatever. But the fact remains is that we're still paying for that many years later. So my point here is, before you guys undertake any other big projects, we can have Kent and Walmart and Sobeys and whoever say they're going to come and build businesses up on that empty pit. But unless we got assurances, please, I implore you, please do not sink another dollar into that pit. So I did not expect council to address all these concerns and answer all these questions tonight, as I am aware there are other pressing items on the agenda. However, I would like to see some form of written communication to the residents of our town, which provides a detailed response to the items that have been raised here tonight. It has been refreshing to see, since the publication of the petition presented here tonight, detailed responses by council with what actions have been taken to address the water issues. We have an experience. We must try to move away from Band-Aid solutions. I believe that council should provide detailed communication about all the things that you are doing for the betterment of our town. And I know you are working hard on a lot of cases. And I look forward to seeing those communications in the future, especially as it relates to water and sewer, and as well as a current and updated municipal plan with public input to move our town forward with strong vision, measurable goals and objectives, so that we will continue to thrive and be a community where residents want to live, grow, and flourish. And I hope that I've addressed your concerns. I've noted the comments that you've made, and I appreciate you wholeheartedly listening to what we have to say. And I look forward to working with you. As I said, I think Spangers Bay is a wonderful community. I chose to live here. So, as did these people here. So, thank you, and thank you for your attention.
We certainly do appreciate all the feedback that we can. We know there's many issues for this council and for councils to come to deal with the infrastructure. Right now, I'll tell you right now, we do have further to talk about the county infrastructure further down on the agenda. You're more than welcome to stay for the remainder of the meeting if you wish to. Or you can leave after this presentation is completed. That's certainly up to you. But we do appreciate everybody coming out tonight and listening to the presentation and showing your support for moving forward on many of the issues that we have with the infrastructure, especially dealing with water and sewer, of course. I'll just give a brief synopsis to what is to come down here further on the agenda, that we have been working behind the scenes, and I will certainly apologize. Moving forward, we hope to certainly increase that transparency between council to keep you all informed. There's nobody on this council could agree with it more, that, you know, when you have those lines of communication open, it's better for everyone. We get more feedback, you guys understand our next moves coming forward, what we did, the mistakes we made, how we move on from it, all of that. 100%, I agree. There's some issues there, any questions that are on your slide, if we can have that in a written response, we'll certainly answer each and every single one of them. Most of them are very factual. I'll agree. You have your numbers for the most part right. There's some tweaks that have to be, that are some old information that's been updated since, but we'll certainly get that information out to you. Just a brief synopsis, because we have a purely long agenda here tonight. Behind the scenes, we have a couple of different studies done. The previous council has worked on that as well. It's not only this council. We do have an asset management that was done on all the infrastructure, and that encompasses where we should be putting our money if we're putting, monies into that to the repair of what's already in the ground. We do have, let's see, don't want this code here now. We do have our study that was done on our water intake. I know that's a big issue with supplying water with the frazzled ice. We have a study done by WSP from those guys, and that figure came into $1.2 million. We knew that was obviously not in our budget, but we still nevertheless had to deal with that situation. And moving forward, we are in talks right now with Upper Island Cove, and we've, between the two towns, there's another possibility of trying something else that another town has had some success with, and that's gone off for an engineering estimate, and we'll have prices on that, and as soon as we get that, we'll certainly share that information as well. And right now we have that's in the process, is the Climate Readiness Initiative, and we've partnered with 3 communities on that. That should be completed by early May. We're hoping, we reached out, tried to get some more information for tonight, but it wasn't available. We haven't got a response back from them yet. And that is doing with all the infrastructure of handling storm drainage and stuff, but it also encompasses, sure, it's okay to put a culvert here or a bigger culvert here, but our system's got to be able to pump it out and flush it out and get it away from our homes and properties around town. So, and that project is, we found that through a grant that was 100% funded from the federal government. So we are striving our very, very best to avail of, and we have, of most of those funding opportunities that were listed. If there's any time, we are always open. If you come up and see something that's funding that we have not crossed our tables, we are open and welcome to look into it as well. Unfortunately, some of these fundings are, like, we go through them and we just do not meet the criteria. Like the big one that was announced and went to the West Coast, we didn't follow that criteria, so we couldn't apply, unfortunately. But rest assured, moving forward, we are making a commitment to keeping those lines of communication more open and hopefully back and forth. And we are reassessing, is what I really want to bring home. We are reassessing what has to be done. And council is now faced with the decision of where do we start while looking at all the studies that have been done, where the residents would like us to start, and probably our next move forward is to start on our social media and put it out on a point alert and ask for written submissions from the town. Where would you like us to start? We have multiple areas in town that our infrastructure is starting to fail. Not all parts of town. We also have to deal with, unfortunately, areas of town that do not have any water services at all. And those people, are looking for an answer as well. So hopefully we can find, between your feedback and us looking into it more and concentrating on it, we'll have some solutions moving forward. Any
I'd like
councillor
to ask
to
you just a
speak?
quick question there.
Yeah.
It was a great speech and great presentation. I just had one question there. You mentioned at the end of it there about water pressure and being such for so long and whatnot. Is there anyone from the beginning of New Arbor Road there in this group of people there and someone more towards the end? Where is water pressure?
Well,
Where are we with it? Is it right at the beginning of New Arbor Road, the water pressure is down? Or are we getting less as we go into New Arbor Road? 'Cause I'm just thinking now about the pump and the lift station and whatnot. And if it's a pump problem, if the water coming and going is one thing, but water pressure, this is something that we can really look right into immediately, I think so.
Well, I'm near the end, like I'm almost into like where Anthony lives. I'm on Hutchings Road, but civic address is New Harbor Road. And we have pretty low pressure.
Constant
Yeah, constant.
and
Like I would hazard to say, if I had a bathtub, I don't have a bathtub, I walk and shower, but if I had a bathtub, the water would be cold off before it would be filled up.
so the main line coming into your house now downstairs, is there a pressure gauge there now showing the municipal pressure coming into your home?
I guess somebody would have to check that outside the house. I'm not familiar with that, but I know when poor old Mr. Cliff Reed was alive, I think he checked the pressure. I can't remember what it was. My husband was here, he'd be able to tell me, but he's not here because of medical reasons, but, it was low. Now, I did contact council about that before and was told that, probably I could purchase my own lift, but, I pay my
Yeah,
water,
I'm
that's all I
100% with you.
yeah.
I'm just trying to get some more information on that. Is there anyone else here?
I'll make a comment.
Yes.
I live really close to Kim,
Okay.
and I have a on-demand water system.
Okay.
And it doesn't have enough flow rate to kick in the hot water. That's how low the pressure is. And I got a brand new home that's
Okay.
less than 10 years old.
Okay.
And it's got the largest water line coming from the town in to my house.
Do we have anyone else here now?
And I had to put a pump in.
Okay, appreciate that. Then we'll look into this. Go ahead, Matt.
I'm a hairdresser, I own a business, I just built a home 6 months ago.
Okay.
And I can't even put my spray on in my kitchen to rinse my dishes, it won't hold the sprayer open. I have to keep the button closed to get the spray,
Are
the
you
pressure's so low.
further in New Arbor Road, member? Are you from?
I'm right up Perry's Hill.
You're up there, okay. Just something I'm not into I'm not in part of the public works department and whatnot, but I am pretty well experienced in infrastructure and what it takes and what it don't take. Something we'll look into this week, outside of water coming and going problem. We'll have a look at the pumps, see how many horsepower pump we do have there, and see if there's any way we can look at down the road for funding for probably putting an additional pump on New Arbor Road. I'm not really sure where we are with the first pump in comparison to the second one, but this is probably something we can look into a little bit quicker than looking at the feed line coming out of Spider Pond that feeds Upper Round Cove and Spaniers Bay as well. So I'll take this one and we'll look at this one. I'll talk with Council Shepherd on Public Works there, and we'll see if we can get some bit of clarification.
Appreciate that.
And foot going forward. Yes, ma'am.
Along here, I think almost all of us are on that end of New Harbor Road where Kim lives.
Okay.
And this lady on the first.
And it's constant right across the board.
Yeah.
For pressure even, eh?
The pressure, have most experienced a pressure rise this week?
A little,
Okay.
very, very little.
Until 5 o'clock, and when everybody gets home, then the pressure goes back down.
Okay. We did have these services of RPM, a new company, because we've been searching we know there's leaks in there. We've been searching. Some of them don't come to the surface, of course, so it's, we're listening with our devices and trying to find, exactly where they're to. Anyways, we heard another recommendation from another town. to try this company. They came out when all was quiet in the night, and they send up drones and whatnot, and they have different ways of listening for leaks and stuff. And we found some leaks that we did not know existed. So we've corrected most of them. There is still one more big leak that we have to fix that is directly out here. And we're told that it is a large leak that should increase, once fixed, should increase the pressure once again in a New Arbor Road. We're hopeful. So we are working on it, on the situation. We're just sped up this year.
Yeah.
We're residents as well. We're dealing with the same issues, right? Some areas are getting more issues than others. When we turn off the water and turn it back on, I'm up on the height, so I'm one of the last people to get my water back. Some people don't lose it so much. So going forward, like I said, we work together. We'll figure out where this council is going to start making, allocating our funds and improving infrastructure in the town.
I'd like to make one more comment to
Yeah.
your comments in regards to the pumps. Talking to Tony a couple of years ago about this, and I was told at that time that we can't turn up the pressure any harder than what it is coming up the hill on New Arbor Road because it will cause leaks.
So what I'll
It's
look
not
into,
the pumps themselves.
yep, so what we can look into, once all the leaks and everything is repaired throughout the town and whatnot, these the main trunk line, like you said, like Mayor just said, it may increase pressure. We'll see on that note there first. And then if we gotta reach out to engineering and whatnot, if we gotta put a new pump station halfway up New Arbor Road, we'll talk with engineering. We'll get the elevation where the pump station is located to the highest elevation we got. We'll see what our pump is rated for and the amount of residents. New Arbor Road is growing. Probably we got 10, 15 new residents over the past 5 years. So we'll look at these here. If we gotta look into engineering and put forth probably an Olden tank here, 1,000 gallons, to create some head pressure on the pump to get the water flowing a little bit more. So there's various things we can look into.
Yeah, absolutely.
These things, once again, will take time. I think what Mayor said, the leaks probably first, and then, but in the background, we will look through these few items and see what's what.
I think, like I said, I think all we're looking for is a plan. I
Exactly.
mean, 50 years with essentially no plan.
Exactly, and I know all you good citizens came out here tonight, and you're all concerned, because I'd be the same thing. I want to make sure you guys come out here tonight, and ladies, and you just never done a presentation. You want to make sure that your voices were heard. And I do feel your frustration for sure, because the basic necessities of life is water, and you know what I'm trying to say here.
Just to add to that, I'm at the other end, I guess, of the line from Kim. I'm just up here in the corner in New Arbor Road. The pressure is fair, I got to say. I'm not going to say it's any better than that, because when I visit other people's homes in different communities, one of the things that jumps out at me is the pressure that they have that I don't have. And it's been like that. I've been down home for 16 years, so pretty much it's fluctuated from fair to adequate, I guess you could say.
Where you located? How far up
Just
are
right
you?
there.
Just up here in the corner.
Okay, so it's already fairly low before we.
Before the hill.
And the other problem, of course, is having to filtrate the water, because I've gone through several hot water tanks since I've been home. I put in at the time was over a $400 filtration system in the line in the house, and the filter was supposed to last for 3 months. It lasted 9 days. I tried that twice, and I had a plumber come in and check it, see what the hell's going on. And he said it's what's coming in through the main line. So this is what was causing the hot water tanks to, whatever's in the water.
Fair, guaranteed for sure.
I've gone through it.
Can I speak very quick? So, Liverpool Bobby, I live a half a kilometre up from 99, right, on New Arbor Road. And my cabin, I got the pump set at 40 to 60, cuts in at 40 out at 60, perfect pressure. I'd estimate at my house now, maybe 20 PSI, which is not a lot. Bringing up to Kim's, she lives in the road another kilometre. And what's in Hutchings Road for a point? 2 inch, 3, like, you know. So she's not gonna get no water. The higher you are, obviously, you're gonna lose first and less pressure.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's that. So you say there's a booster station going to New Hampshire Road?
No, I'm just shooting shooting in the dark here now.
Okay, no,
I'm trying to just give you guys some remedies, what probably could be done with the right funding
Yeah.
and the right engineering.
no,
There is always a solution, but
yeah,
it might take time to get to that solution. Like I said, depending on the funding that we do get, I know in the main trunk line is federal, right? It's provincial basically, right?
and as somebody just said, the system is 54 years old, because I remember the day I got struck with the car up in front of the Owens there, 1972, right? That would work good too, but it's 54 years old. So you're gonna give somebody water and blow.
That's right, exactly.
That's a fine line to walk too.
Yeah, there's a lot of things, like I said,
Absolutely.
once the leaks are fixed there, and probably we'll reach out to the residents of New Arbor Road and see if we're getting any more pressure with the amount of leaks that we do get fixed.
Yeah.
And we can go from there, but there gotta be a solution.
There's gotta
There gotta be a solution,
And
for
the
sure it
quality-
is, we're putting people on the moon, so I'm sure we're gonna be able to
Yeah,
rectify this.
exactly, yeah. Water, I mean, the quality of, I haven't drank our water in years. Right?
And it's,
Never
Yeah.
drink.
I just wondering,
It's
if anybody
not even clear water. I
remember back before we went on Spider Pond, was the water pressure good in there at first? Like from Fall Pond? Originally that was from Fall Pond.
Yes, it was coming from Fall Pond.
Everything was good at that time.
Yeah, without gravity, I mean, it's from Spider. Yeah, but yes, back then it was all new then.
Well, maybe there's an option here, I don't know, again, I don't know, maybe there's an option there of isolating New Arbor Road and turning on the valve in Fall Pond again, getting the pressure
They
come
were
out.
actually there for water, too.
Well, that's still available, I'm pretty sure that's still available.
We've got lots of feedback
Yeah.
to consider, and like I said, I think moving forward, we'll put out that call for written submissions. We'll get some answers for your presentation, and we'll move forward from there. I appreciate everybody coming in. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll move on to number 3, and feel free, if anybody's would like to leave, you're welcome. Welcome to stay. We'll,
Everybody sign your name. Yes. Thanks, everybody.
Okay, we'll continue on with our agenda. We'll address number 3, minutes of the meeting for March 10th, 2026. I need a motion to adopt the set minutes, please.
I'll make a motion to adopt the minutes from March 10th, 2026 special meeting.
Correction, that's not the special meeting. Special meeting is the next one after.
Sorry,
It's just March 10th.
Okay,
okay, sorry, I'll make a motion to adopt March 10th.
thank you. Second,
I second that.
we have a motion before by Councilor Smith, second by the Deputy Mayor, to accept the minutes from March 10th, 2026. All in favor of the motion? Aye. And the motion's been carried. I need a motion to adopt the minutes for the special meeting on March 23rd.
I'll make that motion that we adopted the minutes for a special meeting on March 23rd.
I'll second that motion.
It's been motioned by Councillor Longigan, seconded by Councillor Singleton, that we adopt the minutes, special meeting on March 23rd, 2026. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye. And the motion is carried. And we need another motion to adopt the minutes for April 8th, 2026.
I'll put that in form motion. We adopt the minutes for April the 8th.
Do I have a seconder?
I'll second.
Motion by Councillor Lungigan, second by Councillor Singleton, to adopt the minutes to the meeting of April 8th. All in favor of motion? Aye. Any business arising from minutes? Let's reset there. Any questions or concerns?
Your worship, on page 7, I noticed the error in motion number 26-07.
So is that page?
Number 7? Page 7?
7?
Is that the right minutes? Yes.
Yeah.
So it was moved by Councillor Lungigan, second by Councillor Lungigan. Down at the bottom of the
Yes,
motion.
most definitely. Okay. We'll have to go back to the recording and see who who moved it and who seconded. So we'll make a note of that to correct that. Any more issues?
Just a question, actually. Did the resident of Mercer's Lane get their garbage box put back? That was motion. Did we get a new garbage box?
Yes.
Is that done?
Yes.
Yes, they did, yes.
Okay. That's in the business, that's errors or omissions. And we'll move on now to the town manager's report, number 5. And the floor is yours.
Thank you, Your Worship. All right, so leaks, certainly we had a presentation and it was very well done. So thanks for coming in. It's great to see residents engaged. I find not a lot of people are as engaged in their towns as they should be, so it's really nice to see it come out. Obviously, we've had a lot of challenges with leaks in the spring during the freeze and thaw period. So I'm just going to give a little rundown. I know the mayor did go over some of the leaks and kind of what we've done probably since the last Facebook post went out. So on New Harbor Road, our crews had difficulty identifying the source of the leak, source of the water pressure, and we know that some residents didn't have any water at all. So we did contract RPM Geospatial to utilize their drone technology to look for new leaks. They identified a significant leak on Mid Cove Road, a leak on New Harbor Road near the Mid Cove Road intersection, a second potential leak further up on New Harbor Road near a hydrant, and a substantial leak on the Conception Bay Highway. Crews completed repairs on Mid Cove Road and the intersection between New Harbor Road and Mid Cove Road. And we have heard that has improved water pressure a bit on New Harbor Road. At this time, we believe all residents have water. So I don't believe there's anyone at this time with no water. Certainly we appreciate that there's still pressure issues, which we'll explore. On Friday, we also had another significant leak on Mid Cove Road that just came up that day that crews repaired. Yesterday, crews repaired a leak in Back Cove. And today we were working on another leak on the Conception Bay Highway that has since been repaired. So we've been trying to complete those leaks for some time, but certainly the New Harbor Road issues came up and caused more problems, so we dealt with them first. But we were able to go back to Back Cove and Conception Bay Highway today and yesterday. We're aware of a leak on Bishop's Cove on Butts Road and have contacted Newfoundland Power for a date to help complete the work there. We need H&B in to hold the pole as the dig site is too close to the pole for safety reasons. We're also aware of a leak on Brazos Hill and a leak on Mid Cove Pond Road that's located on a residence line and not the town's line. We will also be repairing the leak identified by RPM on the Conception Bay Highway outside of the town hall, and we may require an outside contractor for that work because it is a very significant leak. I want to thank our crews and all town staff involved in these repairs. It has been a very busy spring with continued snowfall and heavy rain at times that has made the repairs very challenging. I also want to thank residents for their patience for these disruptions in water services as we make the repairs, including representatives who are here this evening. It's always great, as I said, that you're engaged. So the next item I have is the enforcement officer. We have an updated schedule for our enforcement officer. Before he was with us only on Thursdays for the full day on Thursdays, but we've now split the time. So he comes in on Monday afternoons and Thursday mornings. So we get him more frequently to check in on things. So we're going to trial that with the other communities and see how that goes. So this week was the first week of that new schedule. We also have signage for illegal dumping that will go up soon, and he'll be monitoring the cameras for illegal dumping as well. We also have a tender out right now for road construction and paving. So written tenders can be dropped off at the town by the deadline of 3 p.m. on Thursday, April 16th. And some amendments. So we have an amendment, municipal plan amendment. This is the one related to the garden suites. So right now our planner, he's completed some minor changes for municipal affairs. And the next step is once we get a release from land use planning and government, we'll bring it back to council for a motion to adopt. And then schedule the required commissioners hearing. So that's the status of that one. And we also have a public consultation ongoing right now related to development regulations amendment number 3, which is a zone map change for residential infill to residential medium density for the seniors complex at Conception Bay North Highway. And the deadline for written comments is Friday, April 17th at 4 p.m.
Thank you. All right. Lots of information there. Thank you. We'll now move on to committee reports. And our first one is the Finance Committee. And we have the accounts payable list in the amount of $60,397.20. And I'll need a motion to adopt.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt the accounts payable list for $60,397.20.
I'll second that motion.
It's been motion by Deputy Mayor, second by Councillor Singleton to pay accounts payable in the amount of $60,000, $397.20. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye. And motion is carried.
We also have our cash position on page 30. Our quick stats accounts receivable on page 31, 36. Income expense statement on page 37 and 41. And our check register on page 42/44 for anybody if they wish to have a look at it.
And I do believe we have that one amendment
Yes.
that was made.
We have the amendment, yes, for 98, it's for tax deduction request. Request came in from a resident at 98 Ridge Road. I'd like to put in the form of a motion, Your Worship, to reimburse for one sewer charges retroactive to January the 1st, 2026, and make the necessary changes for the years hereafter.
It's a motion by Councillor Newman,
I'll second that motion.
second by Councillor Singleton, that we move forward on a tax reduction that was requested by a resident on a portion of sewer. The resident has been billed twice. We'll,
Are we able to revisit that one, Mayor, and bring up,
The person's being charged for 2 water and 2 sewer.
okay,
Now, 2 water is okay because his air style was
okay,
placed,
good.
but the 2 sewer shouldn't be charged for
Okay.
sewer like twice.
He's actually not
Water,
using either
right?
sewer. You got his own water and
He got
sewer
his own
system
water
in place.
system.
And you gotta pay for water and sewer for that in the past land both years.
And so it only happened this year, did it?
No, it's been years,
Okay.
but she only picked up on it now. She only put in request
Okay,
now, so
okay, just want to make sure.
we're just reimbursing until January now is up. She can appeal that if she wants. It's up to the resident to do that.
Just want to Make sure it's all clear on what we're talking about.
any more questions or concerns? All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye. And the motion is carried. We'll move on to Planning Committee.
Okay, number 833 Conception Bay Highway, a garage application. Your Worship, I'd like to make a motion to approve new garage at 833 Conception Bay Highway. He meets all the town's rules and regulations for a new build.
I'll second that motion, Your Worship.
It's been moved by Councillor Nolan, second by Councillor Singleton, to approve a new application for a garage at 833 Conception Bay Highway.
An application came in to construct a new garage at 833 Conception Bay Highway. Enforcement officer made a site visit, measured the pegs, and it meets all the requirements for the new build.
Any questions or concerns? All in favor of the motion? Aye. And the motion is carried.
Okay, B, 855 Conception Bay Highway, a shed application. Your worship, planning recommends deferring this application until we receive the required paperwork. So an application came in a little while ago to construct a storage shed on the property. The area required a buffer zone. Planning went down to do a site visit, and we recommended that they put it in another area on the site down there. So they came back and said that they would put it in another area. But since that, we haven't received any new documents saying where it's going to be or the measurements. So we want to wait until they send that in, and we'll send the enforcement officer back down when it's clearer.
So it's been motion by Councillor Nolan. Did we get a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Councillor Lunchman, that we'll defer this application from 855 Conception Bay Highway. Any questions? All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye. The motion is carried.
Okay, number C. I'd like to put forward a motion, sorry, your worship, to approve new build at 41 Pines at Phase 1 with the conditions pegs are in the ground and it meets the rules and regulations for new builds.
Been motion by Councillor Nolan, second by Councillor Singleton, that they approve a conditional permit for 41 Jet 5, is it?
Yes.
Yep, 41 Jet 5. Conditional approval, once the enforcement officer gets down
And measures with the pegs.
Yep, measures with the pegs. Any questions? All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye. And the motion is carried.
Okay, your worship, I'd like to make a motion to approve Phase 2 with the signing contract to have the deficiencies completed by June the 25th or have a stop work order.
Okay. There's a motion by Councillor Nolan,
I'll second that motion.
second by Councillor Smith, that we have an application here, I guess, a request from the developer to move on with stage 2. And there are some conditions that was agreed upon with the contract, and it's been signed. So moving forward, there's a conditional agreement put in place, and hopefully everything runs smooth, and those items are taken care of.
Yes.
And we'll move forward on stage 2. Any questions or concerns? All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye. And the motion is carried.
Okay, bungalow clusters. The developer sent along site plan layout for Phase 2 at Northern Pines, consisting of 6 rentals in a cluster. They are also asking for discretionary use approval to accommodate attached cluster development. In theory, it's a great idea for our town. Going forward, we would need more information and consult with the owner of Northern Pines. So this is underneath the BRDI developer. So we're just gonna wait and see what happens.
So no movement presently?
Presently, no.
Okay. So we're deferring, I guess it's a motion to
We'll defer, yes.
defer, okay?
I'll second that.
We have a motion by Councillor Nolan, second by Councillor Longton, to defer approval with some more information. Here, I think we had a presentation from
We did, yes, yeah.
from some investors and stuff, but we do need to have a bit more conversation, I guess, with the developer. And in theory, it sounds like a great project, go on in our town to grow. And we're just waiting for some more information, more concrete information to develop a plan for any locales.
And personally, Your Worship, I'd like to know what developers talking about or what they want in regards to discretionary use. Like what is in it that they want to use discretionary use for, which we weren't aware of at that time.
I think we did look into part of that, and I think in some towns, it's not put in the town's plan of to allow these clusters. This is a new, you know, a new aspect of building homes, I guess.
Yeah.
So looking at our town plan, we have been in contact with him, and that's something that he's willing to look into. If there's something we can, you know, put in there, and I don't see it being an issue. But before the town moves forward on that, we want more of a confirmation from the builder.
To make sure that's what the actual discretionary use is for the clusters.
Yes.
Right?
It's just that it entails,
Yeah.
we may not have to use discretionary use.
No.
You know, it could be an amendment that needs to be done. Either way, we have to, a little bit more information before we decide on that.
I can just add, so I did reach out to the investors, and it is, as they said, with previous projects that they've worked on in other places, they have noticed that they needed discretionary use.
Okay.
I think it's worth getting some advice
Yeah.
from our planner.
Yeah.
To find out where, if it fits the required
Right.
zoning that we already have in place, which is residential medium density. And so that's kind of where we are, and I have spoken with the developer as early as this afternoon as well on this, and he believes that they're looking for kind of an approval in principle, but we're just clarifying that discretionary use versus approval in principle. So that's moving along fairly quickly, and we should have that shortly.
All right, perfect.
Excellent, we're just looking for some more information on wording.
Okay.
So we have a motion on the table?
Yes, to defer, yes, for more information.
Okay. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
And the motion is carried.
Okay, 7 to 21 Conception Bay Highway, a new building, a business. Your worship, I'd like to put a motion to approve in principle, subject to the town's conditions outlined in the town plan.
I'll second. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'd like to second that motion, Your Worship.
Okay, we have a motion put forward by Chair of Planning, Councillor Newman, and second by Councillor Singleton.
Okay, application came in from a resident to construct a sports bar at 7 to 21 CBH Highway. The resident is responsible to adhere to all the rules and regulations before going forward.
So this is a conditional approval. I do believe we need some more.
Approving in principle.
Right.
Yes, there's a list of items that they need to follow before it can be approved.
Yeah, I think we need some more information on that.
And I think that person put an application before,
Yes, they did,
and I
yes.
think the permit basically the same thing with the same conditions.
The same
we made.
conditions, yeah.
Yeah.
I have it here if anybody wants to have a look again.
Any more questions? All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye. The motion is carried.
Okay, the next one is Tree Fowler's Lane. I knew-
Actually,
oh, sorry.
There's a correction there. There's just a typo. It's supposed to be 13. 13 dollars.
Oh, 13, okay.
Yes, it's just a typo.
It's just, okay, sorry. Okay, sorry. 13 Fowler's Lane, new house. Your worship, I'd like to put a motion to approve new house at 3 Fowler's Lane with the condition that the water and sewer connection to be the responsibility of the applicant as the connection is located on a private line provided by Mr. Gordon Fowler. All costs associated with the connection shall be paid for by the applicant. Upon completion, the applicant is required to provide the town office with the measurements of the location of said connection. The applicant must ensure that town staff inspect the connection prior to backfilling.
Okay, so it's a conditional permit.
Yes.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Is a motion put forward by Councillor Newman, second by Councillor Longigan, that we grant a conditional permit as stated, and I'm sure that information is shared with the homeowners. Move on to that. Any questions? All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye. Motion is carried.
Okay, and number G, a new build at Jack Pine, Phase 2. Your worship, I'd like to make a motion to approve a new build at 58 Pines at Phase 2 conditionally until pegs are in the ground and the enforcement officer can measure.
I would second that motion, Your Worship.
Motion by Councillor Nolan, second by Councillor Singleton, that we give a conditional approval at 58 Jack Pine Drive from Phase 2. Any questions? All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Deputy Mayor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. And we'll move on to Public Works Committee. We have one item there.
So number A is the contract for Director of Public Works, so I'd like to put in a motion that we accept the contract for Director of Public Works.
We have a motion put forward by Councillor Shepherd
I'll second that.
and a second by Councillor Lundgren, that we accept the signed contract for Director of Public Works. Any questions or concerns?
Yeah, I don't think we should be signing any contract for the Director of Public Works at this time because we have a lot of changes going on in our administrative staff. And we have discussed in our meeting of the whole, our committee meeting of the whole, some restructuring that needs to take place. So I think we should defer that until the next meeting for sure. And we see how things goes with our restructuring and the motions that will be put forward at that time.
Any more comments or questions?
I'd like just to say, Your Worship, that it was great at the meeting though, right? That we would go ahead with the contract. And we agreed to that. So it's just, we should stick to our work.
Mayor, I'm with the deputy mayor as well. I think defer till next meeting, I think would be in the best interest. I don't think it's going to be any delay on anyone's part really.
If in fact we have some restructuring occurring, there may not even be a position of the Director of Public Works. So why sign a contract now if it's a possibility of restructuring the admin?
Your Worship,
That's my question.
we'd be just assuming. So right now, we have the contract and it's signed. So instead of assuming what's gonna happen, we're just taking it day by day, right?
This, in all due respect again, this Director of Public Works has been put in place now since last September. Why the rush? Why not wait another month until we see if restructuring can occur? I'm all for it. If restructuring don't occur and we got to sign up for a new 6-month contract, go for it. But she's been working now for 6 months without a contract. Why the rush? That's my question.
Your Worship, I don't think there's a rush. I just think that we agreed in a meeting to sign the contract, and we should agree to the contract. It was agreed to in
I
a
will
meeting.
say that meeting took place. There's been a lot of changes since that meeting.
Exactly.
I will say that, we're looking at what's the number 80, which is almost contradicting this one. So, it's definitely worth discussion here for sure.
I agree that we do have some changes that are arising, and we'll take care of that further down on the agenda. When this discussion had started with the committee of the whole, there was an agreement by the majority to move forward on the contract. And moving forward, we do not know, there's multiple scenarios that can play out that can affect this or may not affect it at all. So council has to decide tonight, are we moving forward or are we delaying? Again, that's the decision.
I do agree with the restructuring stuff. But like Deputy Mayor said, it has been no contract for 6 months, and we did agree to put the contract in place. So my thing is, go ahead with the contract. If we got to restructure, we'll restructure at that time. But my things is, like, this has been months and months and months. Contract, no contract, contract, no contract. We gotta decide if we're gonna do the contract. We already decided as a majority that we would do the contract. Now, next month, if we got to restructure, which down the line of it, we do have to restructure, stuff's gonna happen, things are gonna change. But right now, that's my take on it.
Mayor, I don't think it's any reason to jump into any decision that you make, especially going into contracts. As you look throughout the evening news, it's all over Newfoundland. We got big contracts going on throughout, and there's a divide in the provinces. People wanting to sign contract or wanting to wait. Once contract's signed, it's harder to break that contract with all the restructuring that's going to be going on within the town. Like Deputy Mayor said, 6 months has gone by, there's no issues. If there is some items and we got restructuring, why are we jumping right now just because we said everyone's taught that yeah, it was good. But like Councillor Shepherd said, there was a lot of items that took place that are going to take place since the last meeting. So.
And like item number 8 there, are we appointing an acting town manager / clerk tonight?
That is on the agenda to address.
Will we be naming that person at that time?
Yes.
And now, isn't there a conflict there? We'll give a contract to this person that we're possibly naming for being our acting town manager / clerk. Why sign a contract for a public works director of public works? When we probably got to sign another contract tomorrow for acting town manager / clerk. That's the question I'm putting forward.
There's not another contract to be signed for an acting.
Okay. So,
Town
okay.
clerk.
So, okay.
You know, that's just a
That's fair.
position that they're sitting in a role, in a fill-in role, until that position is advertised and we get somebody in that place.
And the thing is, you gotta let the person know, because like, this has been, like I said, months and months and months. Is she in a position? Is she not in a position? Like, it's affecting her too, so like, she needs to know going forward what her roles and responsibility is. So you can't, like, to me, like, either do it or don't do it, but you can't have her going around in circles,
So
So
that
is
will all
that,
change when we get down to number 8.
so
right?
Mayor, is
Well-
everyone clear on conflict of interest? Was there any conflict of interest looking in through now with this new position coming up on item number 8, being the Director of Public Works and also acting town clerk, looking over town's union representative, looking over town's union job steward? Is there any conflict of interest looked into before these decisions are made?
Not that I'm aware of.
No, they're both non-unionized positions. They're both non-unionized positions, so.
Okay,
there
so
would be-
in item number 7 there, in this agreement, agreement will be consistent and benefits will be a package of the town's unionized employees. So we just spoke that it was a non-union position,
That's just,
but we're following the union regulations.
just for those 3 items, just not the whole union contract, just for those specific leave consistency for all employees.
Consistent with the benefits package and agreement. The union. Is that correct what I'm reading?
I think the benefits package is referring to medical insurance and things like that, and that is consistent throughout the board. It always has been here.
Just a question I'm asking
Yeah,
before we,
that was the
went to a vote,
reasoning.
before we went to a vote here now.
And that's the reason that everybody has the same medical package.
So number 8, when we get to number 8, is that gonna change said person's rates of pay, their leaves? Is that gonna change all that?
It will change rate of pay when they step into that role as acting.
For the better, I would imagine.
So once again, why are we going into this contract so quick?
Good question.
Your worship, as I stated previously, we agreed, the majority agreed in a meeting to sign the contract. And that's all I'm gonna say. It was agreed.
I know that, if an employee is in one role and then they agree to act in another role from an appointment perspective, they still retain their previous position, because they had to have a previous position to act. That's why they're acting in the next position. So my recommendation would be, like, they need to have a role. So if you proceed with the contract and then they act in another role, they still retain their previous position. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I think it's time to vote. All in favor of the motion to accept the contract for Director of Public Works?
Aye.
Aye. Aye?
Aye.
Councillor Longigan, Shepherd, Singleton, Newman, and myself are in agreement. Those against the motion? Councillor Smith and Deputy Mayor Shepherd. And the motion is carried. We'll move on to D, Fire Department.
As for the 2025 financial statement for the fire department, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the 2025 financial statement. That is presented.
I'd like to second that motion, Your worship.
It's been motioned by Councillor Shepherd and seconded by Councillor Singleton to accept the 2025 financial statement for the Fire Department. Any questions? All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
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 And the motion is carried.
And we added in B there. And that one's based on a discussion for Pat Ford to utilize the ballroom downstairs. So I would like to make a motion that we move forward to the appropriate people to have a look at downstairs and at least give us a estimate or a list of things that we have to do. We have to start somewhere.
I'll second that motion.
Right now, we're not anywhere, so.
So it's been motioned by Councillor Shepherd, seconded by Councillor Smith, that we move forward in compiling a list from the appropriate people to see what repairs need to be made to bring the ballroom, which will also include this entire building, up to code, the possibility of future rentals.
And I think the fire chief, we had a discussion with him last night, and I think he was saying that they did half the building when they were, and there's a lot of like areas that needs to be done. And it's gonna be a lot of work to get that up to par, but I'm in agreement to go forward and see if we can get it, you
Find
know,
out what the work is,
yes,
right? We don't know.
what the
until
cost
something
is.
comes.
If it was significant cost, well, you know what, maybe we'll just have to back away from it. But
I think that's the best route we can take, get some estimates and see what it's gonna cost the town, and, you know, sometimes we might be able to dabble in it, and depending on the cost, we may not be able to.
And if anyone been downstairs lately, it's gonna take a lot of work.
Any more comments? All in favor of the motion? Aye. Deputy Mayor?
Aye.
And motion is carried. And we'll move on to number 7. I did have my little spiel earlier. I think I went over just about everything I had to say. I will recap, I guess, on some of it. I think that is on page 6. As I stated before, this has been an ongoing topic with our infrastructure for quite some time now. And I do want the residents to know that behind the scenes, this present council and staff have been collecting data searching for grants and reaching out to other communities that find themselves in similar situation as we, to see how they're dealing with their challenges. And like I had previously mentioned, we had 3 studies. The last one was near completion to help us understand exactly the situation of what needs to be looked at if we're talking infrastructure-wise, what we need to allocate our funds for moving forward. The numbers are astronomical, of course. We're talking about tens of millions of dollars. But I assure you, this council is moving forward in a positive direction, with the feedback from our residents we have to make a step. So there are some questions, and I know not all residents are going to be happy with. Some of those decisions are, do we have to consider not spreading out new infrastructure in parts of towns that are waiting on water and sewer? Do we try to have a medium between those two? These are only a couple of questions, there's a lot to consider. So in saying that, I think we're at the stage where we should be inviting residents for their written submissions. And how they want us to move forward on their behalf. And we can certainly reach those residents through our social media and volunteer systems and things like that to request feedback. Once we get feedback, we can certainly determine if there needs to be a public meeting so people could voice, moving forward. And we'll gauge on that, on the amount of feedback that we do get from our residents to see if we need more time to discuss it, then we will. But moving forward, we also have to consider our 5-year plan. And it's the sooner we can decide on where we're going to make that application for this year, we will be making one. And so as soon as we can we really do encourage residents to forward that. It's very important. This is your opportunity to tell us what you'd like to be seeing you done around town.
Also, Mayor, I'd like to add on to that piece too as well. Just for the residents, just for public knowledge, for this year, I think for funding and whatnot around our area, I think our MHA and stuff, I think this year was Upper Island Cove and Carbonear. I think there was in excess of $700K put into these 2 municipalities for infrastructure and upgrades. So we're hoping over the next few years that the money is going to come Spangers Bay way for the next time around.
I certainly hope so.
Yeah, so because a lot of these issues right now, like I said, the public right now, we just put an invitation out to let us know what areas is most prudent to get repaired this year. But it shouldn't be like this. We should have more funding and be able to bring our town infrastructure up to where it needs to be. So like I said, this year was Upper Island Cove Carbonear. So let's hopefully this year we can get the money towards Spangers Bay and we can take care of all these issues throughout the town.
Any more comments? All right, that's just a bit of information piece for our residents. We'll move on to number 8, which is appointing acting town manager / clerk and advertise for town manager / town clerk position. And before we get into the motions and whatnot, I'll give our town manager a few moments to address.
Yeah, I would actually, thank you, Your Worship. So I guess I want to start by saying that I genuinely want to take the time to thank council and all town staff for welcoming me to your community over the last several weeks. As council knows, I'm leaving for an opportunity that I had interviewed for prior to starting here. And me leaving, I want everybody to understand that me leaving has no reflection on the town or the work environment, council or staff. Of course, there's challenges in every community, every town hall, municipal, politics is hard, but this is a great place to work. I previously worked in provincial government, and I can assure you that there are many town managers that would like to work for a town that is as well set up as this one. And that's a credit to council, it's a credit to staff, both current staff and previous staff. Sometimes it's easy for people to think that the grass is always greener on the other side, but after witnessing the dedication of the town staff working inside and outside the office, and the commitment from council to this town, I can say that, you know, they do care and you do care, and you're all working very hard for residents every day. So it has truly been a pleasure. Your town has certainly made a great impression on me, and I will carry that forward, and I wish you all the very best in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Alicia. I'd also like to take a moment to express our heartfelt gratitude to our town manager, Alicia. Although your time with us was brief, we'd like to thank you for your work and your professionalism. While we're sad to see you go, to move on, but we're happy for you, for your new opportunities. So on behalf of all of us, we thank you for your leadership. Now we'll move on, and because we will have a vacant spot, we must put a motion forward to appoint an acting town manager in this process. So I'm looking for that motion.
I'll make a motion, Your Worship, to appoint acting CAO, Vanessa
Okay.
Butler.
We have a motion put forward to appoint an acting town manager who is presently our Director of Public Works into that position. Do I have a seconder?
I'll second it.
Second by Councillor Lunchkin. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye. Carried. And just for the information of viewers, we will be posting for that new position immediately. So it'll be tomorrow or the next day, because it'll be as quick as we can get that application out. We're in hopes that if you're interested in this position at all, to quickly react. I do believe we're only going to be opening it right now for a week. So hopefully we'll have a great variety of applications coming up, and we can start some of the restructuring that needs to be done and move forward. All right, we'll move on to number 10. Work.
Yeah, I'd like to put a motion forward to remove the rocks in front of the concrete blocks that's presently on the new wharf here in Spaniers Bay. This new wharf project was brought to the town, to upgrade the facilities and make sure we have proper facilities for rescue purposes, if search and rescue need to get in the water, and also for the residents who enjoy recreational fishing. Currently, right now, we got 4 to 5 concrete blocks that have been utilized for floating docks and to generate revenue. So we're able to keep the maintenance and everything up on the wharf. So as you go down there now, Mayor, these concrete blocks are inaccessible and you're unable to put your floating docks there. So right now, it's not being used to the purpose it's supposed to be. So my motion is I'm going to put together a tender. I'm going to work with the Public Works Director and the Town Manager, and we're going to put a tender out and get some pricing back to remove these rocks so we can move forward and try to generate some revenue.
I'll second it.
Okay, so it's been motioned by Councillor Smith and second by Councillor Shepherd that we're getting, before tender, are we looking for estimates?
Yes,
Okay,
so there'll be a tender package put out
okay,
showing what it's going to include, what we're going to be looking for. So I'll work with the contractors that are going to come in for pricing. I'll review the job scope, what it include, what it won't include, and we'll go from there. And see if there's enough funds allocated for the wharf committee to be able to get these rocks moved and move forward in the right direction.
any questions or concerns?
I got one. Do we still have a wharf committee?
We have a wharf committee, yes.
Okay. Just wondering this all, because I
A
haven't,
good strong wharf committee as well,
okay,
lots of members,
okay,
and they're all interested in the wharf.
I'm fine.
It's a gathering place for the town. We got people looking for water, and we like people that like looking at the water. So
Any more questions?
Your worship, shouldn't this be deferred to the finance committee?
I think, I don't know if that's needed. I think there needs to be a process of, and that's just my opinion. I think the estimates have to come in first,
Okay, yes.
you know? We're not motioning the removal, we're motioning to get estimates.
To get started, okay.
You know, to get
Yep.
started, to see what this process entails. I do, if memory serves me correct, it was done before, but it was an astronomical amount. Things might have changed then, but, like I said, it's been dated, so there's no harm in getting an estimate,
no, exactly.
and then we'll consider it.
Maybe Councillor Smith will have some connections.
We'll see. I know I'll have right direction. I don't know the connections, but I will provide the right direction to get these rocks moved.
Any more questions, concerns? All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye. And the motion is carried. Number 11, fencing at the depot.
I brought this one up, Mayor. Fencing at the depot came down this winter. I just wanted to touch base on this because the resident is really close to the depot. And I would like to make sure that this fencing is not gone on the leeway and we get some decisions made on what we're going to be putting back there, some sort of a privacy fence, or we're going to be going with a steel chain link fence, or we're going to be going with 4x4, 6x6. So what is the full specifications of the fence that we're going to put back there so this resident is, we are respecting his privacy with the depot and being so close. So,
Okay, so it's an informative piece you're asking. I did go down and have a look at the fence myself. I wanted to see if the snow had melted down there so we could have access to have a look and see, you know, what's going on. And a good proportion of the back of that fence is knocked down. It is cracked off. The snow has receded there, so you can get a clear picture of it. I think moving forward, whether it be Public Works or our Director of Public Works should reach out to the homeowner and see exactly, there's no harm in asking what a resident would like to see there. It is directly affecting that person. You know, if we're talking a chain link fence would probably last longer, but if this fence is used for privacy, you know, if people are in their backyard, I'm sure they don't want to be staring at our tractors and our salt, you know, pile and whatnot, that might not be appropriate to put a chain link fence there, right? So that conversation needs to happen with the homeowner.
exactly, yeah, there's a couple of moving parts here as well. If we're going to be, like I said, the fence has to go back. And one thing we want to make sure that survey points are proper and in place. We don't want to assume that the old fence was proper. Never assume going forward. So I just want to make sure, like I said, this is on the radar and let the resident know we will be acting on it moving forward.
I think what mostly happened there was the fence post cracked off with the wind.
Yeah, that's what it was.
I think a lot of the fence that's already there now, we can probably utilize if we use 8x8s or something like that for fence posts or solid. We got our own back over there, we buy a few 8x8s and probably salvage most of what the fence is there now. If we go to a chain link fence, we gotta go up along the side too. You can't just put a chain link fence across the side.
Chain link fence not going to provide
You know,
privacy
you
for
have to
residents.
do all these property with
Yeah, it's not gonna
I'm
provide
sure they
privacy.
want
And it's
privacy.
not gonna
No,
give
and
privacy, no.
the respect that the resident deserves, right?
That's right, that's right. Yeah.
And it's gonna be a lot more expensive.
Absolutely.
It has been on the workload list and to the defense of our workers, they've been just dealing with leaks every single day. You know, it's certainly not forgotten about. But if these leaks continue, we may have to look at other options of outside workers to get on top of things so we can get some of the things off that list. Because that list is growing, as it do every spring. So that's something to consider as well. But we're definitely looking into that and make that connection with the homeowner. We'll move on to number 12.
So this is one I put there, snow clearing and garbage removal. There's actually 3 places throughout town that I want to address, so I think the best way is to address them separately. And the first one, I'll start off with Ryan's Road. I'd like to make a motion that we immediately start the transition on working with these residents so that we can go up there and clear the snow, give them that service and garbage removal. And whatever way we have to do it, whether we take over the road or we go in and get the turnaround done, they want to do the turnaround, whatever we got to do, I think we immediately should start working with these residents and have a path forward to get them services that they're paying for.
I'd like to second that motion as well, Terry.
Okay, it's been motioned by Councillor Shepherd and second by Councillor Smith that we move on the transition of addressing the 3 areas that Councillor Smith is going to continue to talk about the other areas here now, about the snow removal and the garbage removal.
Each one of them are unique, so they're going to need 3 different motions.
Okay. So just to clarify your motion, you want to make a movement on investigating what has to be done in each situation?
Well, I mean, we've done enough of investigating and talking about it. I think we need to make a motion to work with the residents and come up with a solution that is not gonna cost them $300,000 for us to go in and take their garbage. So my motion is that we work with the residents and find an economical solution to get them the services that everybody else in the town are paying taxes on.
Okay, so we're doing this individually, so right now we're talking about Orange Road, am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Councillor Shepherd, how about the other 6 and 7 that's in the town? Are we going to address those individually tonight too?
Not tonight, because I'm not allowed to address some of them. Because you all declared me on conflict, so I have to separate them. But I'm going to address the 3 that have been brought to me time after time after time. And if we got, give 6 of them, 6 sets of residents the services that they're paying for, so be it. Let's do it. But there's a motion on the table for this one.
Any more comments?
I know that we've discussed before, and I'm in agreement to a point that yes, they're paying for services, and yes, they should have services. But I really think that before we decide that we're going to take over a road, I think we need to look at the cost of what that is going to entail,
0.
right?
Our plow truck gotta go extra 600 feet, and the garbage truck gotta pick up an extra 3 houses.
But you gotta put the road up to par of what the council
Road is better than
wants,
most paved roads here in Spanish Bay.
right?
That road in particular is better than most paved roads here in Spanish Bay.
But it's still gotta be in compliance,
Compliance law.
right? Of the policies and procedures that we
Policies and
got.
procedures has been said in this chambers time after time after time that they're guidelines. And that is it, they're guidelines. We do not have to follow them verbatim. There are situations where these guidelines just don't work and they're not.
I'm not saying I don't disagree with you.
No, I know, but
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that each road you got to take, like Councillor Newman said, there's 6 or 7 roads in this town. So
So three
are we
is
going to spend the money and doing all the roads? Yes, they're individual, but if you just for one, you've got to do it for 6 more. That's all I'm saying. So I personally, I think, yes, are you saying it's zero cost, but I kind of don't agree with that.
very minimal,
We,
very minimal.
Mayor, I think we gotta start. We gotta go with the yeses and start developing and going forward with the town for the residents, like Councilor Shepherd said. If we got this road and it's up to standard, right proper widths, culverts are in there, we have residents there paying taxes for everything, there's no reason that we're not able to provide the services.
This man wants to give us the road, he'll give us whatever size turnaround we want. He's willing to give all that to us. And even if that don't work, he's willing to sign a legal document saying if you plow my road and you feel you deem that is not safe, then it's up to him to fix it, and it's up to us to have that say whether we're going in there or we're not going in there. They just want the garbage picked up and the road cleared.
These residents don't wanna work, they wanna work with the town.
They do, right?
Exactly.
Over the past 40 years, the residents up there have to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes.
100% they do, yeah.
It's only right for them to get the same services as anybody else, in my opinion.
That's correct, Deputy.
I'd like to make some points.
And like I said, I don't disagree with you.
I understand the situation, for sure. There are some guidelines that we do take into account with the turnaround and stuff like the mentioned, the width of the roads, whether it's private land or whether it's going to be turned over to the town. All of those are valid points. Whether it's paved or whether it's not paved, or the proper amount of drainage is on the roads. We've got a different variety throughout town on all of these roads that have been applied. I thought the last time council had addressed this, there was supposed to be a meeting of Public Works happen. Has that been addressed?
No, it hasn't happened.
So there hasn't been a sit down with Public Works and taking a road and seeing where we can start and which roads meet the criteria first versus a road that doesn't meet the criteria at all.
So
That's
we
just some
can beat
questions.
this around for another 6 months, but it's been beaten around for 6 months now. So let's just work with the resident, and if we can't come to an agreement with the resident, then we don't do it.
Exactly, like
I'm
Deputy.
certainly in agreement to reaching out to the residents and getting a clarification on the roads. But like Councillor Lungington says, there are 6 or 7 different roads. We do have to decide what roads we're going to attack first on that level. I just don't think personally that we're there to say, yes, we'll take the top 3 roads off the list without Public Works having a deeper discussion, or council as a whole, because it didn't go to that meeting either for discussion. I think we don't have enough information to grant moving forward on any roads.
Did anybody read the 2-page letter that he sent in 4 months ago with all the information on it, including surveys?
I'm sure it was. And so was the other information that we had, the other roads. So who decides?
Who
When is
decides
that-
who first? What rows first?
That decision.
So why, Mayor, why were we so in need to sign a 6-month contract? Everyone wanted to jump on it because beat around the bush. But right now, the deputy just said the residents been up there paying for 40 years and paid hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes, and we're not able to make a decision to plow those people and give them the service that they need, like the other people throughout the town. Why is it the double standard? They're so quick on one end, but
Your
they're
worship, I'd like to say, in regards to the contract, we did meet about it. We did have a discussion and it was agreed. I don't know which
That
roads.
motion's already been dealt with.
Yes,
So we're not
yes.
talking about that now. Right now, we're talking about roads. And in all fairness, the council, everyone who's built outside the boundaries of the serviced area was aware of that at the time they built there. So do we, once again, in the direction of where we spend allocated money, do we consider taking over roads and doing the necessary adjustments on those roads before dealing with infrastructure.
I do believe that I do believe that Councillor Shepherd, in his motion that he put forward and seconded, was just to work with the residents and see what needs to be done to go forward, collect and give them the services that they needed.
There's no good going and telling them that we want $270,000 worth of pavement to go up there because a plow can't plow dirt roads.
I agree.
Right.
I agree.
The man is willing to build the turnaround first, give over the road, and there's never been an issue with ditching, water runoff, or anything on that lane. So I think it warrants us to be able to investigate this further as a town, instead of me as a councillor or another councillor, us as a town, to move forward with this resident and see what we can do to give them the services that they should have.
I'm certainly willing to open any conversation with any resident who feels that, you know, there's been an injustice of any sort or needs a service. And I don't have no issue if that's what the motion is, to start that transition. I do have an issue with putting a motion forward to say that we're going in and providing services that hasn't been thought through more.
So the motion was that we start working with the resident to figure out what we gotta do to get his and their 3 houses in there, their services.
If that's what the motion is. So the motion is, to clarify again, to start work with the resident on Ryan's Road to see what obstacles are in front of us to provide them services.
I know who takes this forward. Is it our town staff that will do up something to
They will.
get this gentleman down and have a chat with us and?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's what our staff is for, to make the reach out. Yeah,
So your worship, just to be clear, any resident can do that, right?
absolutely.
A policy that may need to be amended. I'm just wondering.
And there may, we have discussed some of the policy, and the policy was supposed to be up for discussion for making some amendments. It's dated.
Okay.
It is a dated policy.
And it doesn't reference taking over a private lane. It does not reference that. It's been said in this council chambers before that we don't do it with a curb, gutter, pavement, all these sorts of things. But it doesn't actually, that's for a developer. It doesn't have anything referencing taking over a private road.
So we take over that private road, just the thoughts here. If we take over that private road is not paved. That private road is full of crushed stone. So at the end of the snow clearing season, that road is full of puddles. So we're going in there and filling in all the puddles. So what's going to happen is those 3 residents up there that we just took over that road, next year, they're going to want their road paved. Because the crushed stone is in there and it's all full of puddles. So now they can't get up because the plow is going in there plowing all the crushed stone that way.
I don't know why we're all held up on gravel roads.
I don't understand what's wrong with that, Mayor.
I'm just
Your worship,
putting it out there
just
as a
put this
cost.
over to Public Works.
Does
Since they didn't have a
anybody
detailed discussion.
realize how fast a grader or a piece of equipment can win 600 feet and level off a road? We're talking dimes and nickels here.
Okay. From the beginning, we all know we've reviewed the policies and procedures that are in place. We were in agreement that they were dated and we thought they should be changed. Should we not fix the policies and procedures before moving forward?
I don't think, no. I think we've been 6 months at this now and there's been no steps forward. So I think now we should go and work with the residents. And if the policy needs to be changed a little bit, or if we need to go to the side of the policy, a policy is a guideline. It's been said here millions of times. So if it's only a guideline, and in this specific case, then all we got to do is not worry about the pavement, because that's not an issue anyway. So if we haven't got to worry about the pavement for this particular road, we don't have to worry about the pavement. Give us our turnaround, give us the width that we need, and we'll plow it and we'll send the garbage truck in.
Well, I can guarantee you, it is going to be an issue. Pavement is going to be an issue.
I
And
think,
you got
Mayor,
puddles at the yin yang, and they want the pavement there.
Mayor, going forward, I think.
You're assuming though.
I'm not assuming that, Councillor Shepherd,
100%.
like, the thing is, think about it. If you go in and grade a road, and snow clear a road that is gravel, you're gonna get potholes. Regardless, and there's no potholes there now, but there will be full potholes.
So, Mayor, for the development plan for the new residents coming in, are we still holding tight that these residents coming in and building in our town has to bring pavement, has to pave their own road and put curb and gutter in? Is that what we're saying? Are we holding to that?
What we're saying is, as we've said before, that a review has to be done of the policies that we have in place, and they need to be updated.
I know what, but we're keeping on going back to pavement, like Councillor Shepherd said. What's the big deal with gravel road? 600 feet. is what the thing.
Mayor, they've been plowing that road for almost 50 years now, and they haven't had an issue in there. Why are we gonna have an issue?
Mayor, this town, I've always, years ago, always had gravel roads. I know I work with Pennycom, we used to send our grader down here in the spring of the year, probably for a day or so, and grade up all the roads. And everything was fine then until the next year. Once a year, we used to do it, once a year. So, if it was damage done with the plow, once a year, the grader came down for a day, probably $1,500. Graded up all the gravel roads. Everything was out your doors for the summer, out for the next year. So it's no big, what I'm trying to say is, it's no big cost.
If it comes to that, it's still not a big cost.
No.
My understanding of the last conversation that council had, when we were moving forward, talk about considering taking over the roads, that Public Works was gonna have a meeting in the spring, review, have a site look at all these roads and determine from a list of what roads we were gonna tackle first. In the meantime, we do have to address the issue of the current policy. So right now for tonight, I think we beat this a little bit long. We do have a motion on the table. So I will ask the question. All those in agreement with the motion that's put forward by Councillor Shepherd, second by Councillor Smith, that we begin the transition of conversation with Ryan's Road. All in favor of the motion?
Just have a conversation, right? I'm right in saying that.
That's what it is.
I am too, conversation,
Just a conversation, yeah.
That is the motion, I'm stating this correctly.
conversation, right?
With the resident, yeah.
With the resident, yeah.
Get things going.
I'm sorry, can I have a show of hands again? I didn't see. Okay, all right.
Number 2,
Motion carried for that one.
I'm sorry. Jones's Road Extension. It is, I would like to put in a motion that we start discussions with the Department of Highways for us as a town to take over that section of road that is owned by the Department of Highways.
I will second that motion, Councillor Shepherd.
It's owned by the Department of Highways, it's been used as an excuse not to do this road for these people. We got a mini park up here, we talked about paving the other night, and it was hunky-dory, we're gonna pave it. That was Department of Highways once upon a time also. But we got residents in there, 3 residents or 4 residents in there in the same situation, and they've been fighting to try to get the road plowed. So my motion, well, I already said motion.
Okay, we had a motion from Councillor Shepherd, second by Councillor Smith, to contact the Department of Highways about taking over the road of Jones's Road Extension.
Your worship, I'd just like to say, Jones's Road wouldn't be the only reason we would contact the Department of Highway. That's why we should look at all the roads to see exactly which roads.
Mayor,
We need to contact for
I
what?
think that's the only parcel of the road now in our town that is owned by the Department of Highways.
And just for the information, the rest of the council, I know some of you may know, I've already had that conversation with our Director of Public Works about reaching out. I don't know if that's been made already or not, but it is certainly already on the list, so there's no harm in motioning that tonight. And we'll contact in the morning to double check and see if there's any progress. That will be one of the first steps in that road situation, because we obviously can't service a road that we don't own.
No, that's right.
That's
So that's the first step in that.
Yeah, that is the first step.
I'm sure the Department of Highways know that.
So, any more conversation with that one? All in favor of the motion?
And just to reconfirm, it's just to have a conversation.
This is, we're asking about taking over ownership. That's what it is. Yep. Aye, and motion's carried.
And the last one is, the road doesn't actually have a name, but the addresses are 206 A, B, and C Backtrack Road, which is a lane just past Overpass in Tilton. It has 3 residents on it now, and another one in short future wanting to build there. So I'd like to make a motion that we, and I'll explain myself after for this one. This one's a little bit unique again. I'd like to make a motion that we start plowing that road and providing the services up there immediately.
Okay, been motioned by Councillor Shepherd. Do I have a seconder?
I'll second
Second by the Deputy Mayor to immediately take over the road of 206 ABC.
The address is of the Backtrack Road, but that's actually the main road. So it's a lane that goes off that one.
That's in
So,
past the old
but the
pass?
address, yeah,
Okay, there's only one road in there.
yeah, that's right. There's only one.
two. Just two.
Okay, well, this is the last one,
Okay,
the last lane. So to explain myself, these residents had discussions many years ago about getting the road taken over. They were told to put Class A in there and put culverts in every one of the driveways. They did that. Then they came back and they said, no, we want you to put in, the town said, we want you to put in a turnaround. They did that. And then the town said, after that, they said, no, you gotta have it paid. So they said, no, enough is enough, they can't afford it. They just couldn't, or I don't know about afford, but they weren't paying that money. So right now, there's a turnaround in there. The road is not plowed by us. It's plowed by a private resident. And here's the kicker. We have a school bus with all our children on it that goes in that main road, that highway, every day and every evening, that stops in the middle of the highway because we won't plow up that road for the turnaround. Stops in the middle of the highway, puts his flashers on, and backs up the highway and backs up that road to turn around with all our kids in it. So that right there shouldn't be allowed at all. We talk about having turnarounds and our plows not being able to back up and whatnot, but we got a busload of children going in there. There's 12 children, I think, being passed overpass now, that are on a bus that stops in the middle of the highway and has to back up that lane. When there's actually a turnaround up to the top of that lane, already built for us, and the ditching's already done. The only thing is not done is paved. So I think for safety concerns alone, we should immediately reach out to the owner of this road and who has tried over the years numerous times to give it over to us so that we would plow it. Let's stop backing up a road full of, a bus full of kids on a highway.
Your worship, there was a turnaround spot in there, if I'm not mistaken, it was, wasn't it? But the highways didn't plow it in further?
Oh, I don't know. It on
Yeah, I
that
think there
road.
is.
Yeah.
There was.
For sure.
I know they
But
stop
they
in the
stopped
middle of the road
plowing?
now. They stop in the middle of the road right now and they back up that lane because we won't plow up.
Now we can step in as a town and all our councils here together, we can take care of the safety of the kids backing up on the highway.
100%.
Because we got the power to do it as a group. And the town kids is most important.
And again, we would have to have discussions with the owner of that lane. But they're in full agreement for us to take it over. And they've complied on everything that we asked so far, one at a time. And we kept adding on and adding on to the point where then we wanted a couple $100,000 worth of pavement.
I have a
So,
question of clarification. The actual owner of that road is not a resident of that road, am I correct?
that's correct, yeah.
Okay,
But the residents are the ones that have declared.
right. Correct, yeah, okay, that's my understanding.
Your worship, this is like an example of why Public Works should have a meeting, because this is the first time I heard of this road wanting to be upgraded or anything like that. So I think we should all be on the same page. Public Works have a meeting, combine a list of the changes and bring it back to council with their recommendations.
Your worship, I would like to state that I am on Public Works, and this is the first time I've heard about these three issues. I don't know why I was left out.
What do you mean?
Those three issues that you got down for snow clearing, I did not know about those
Well,
until
They were put
tonight.
on the agenda
Until tonight.
and it was, there wasn't, all the information wasn't there. And it was various roads put on there.
That's right. So I didn't know which ones you were talking about. So I didn't know what to discuss tonight.
So this is,
So I would like to have beforehand, I would like to have the information so that I'm aware of what's going on.
Were you at the meeting in the whole? Did
Yes, I
anybody-
was.
Anybody reach out? and-
It said various on it.
Yes, did anybody need clarification? I wasn't asked for clarification, I would give it.
But you were traveling in the air, so we couldn't get a hold of you.
I would give you clarification. So that you would have had it for tonight.
so going forward, Mayor, I think Public Works should have a meeting in regards to all of these takeovers. Because that's the first time I heard of it as well. So how many other streets is there?
Man, you know, in the construction industry, like I would say, towns like job, eh? In the construction industry, if you see a safety incident, you own it, right? So Terry just brought a major concern up there, and there we got a busload of kids. Everyone there in this chamber has heard the concern and knows the concern. Right now, it's not about that road. If this road is up to standard, like Councillor Shepherd is saying,
Your
for
worship,
one thing, tomorrow, speaking, sorry, Councillor Singleton, for one thing, I think that we should take in consideration the safety aspect of this alone. The other two issues that Councillor Shepherd brought up, there was no safety in those, and they were legitimate concern from the residents. This one here is a different cup of tea in my books, just my opinion.
So
Your
when the
worship,
bus-
if I can, sorry.
It's okay, you go ahead.
Lost your train of thought?
Just like that.
I got to ask a
We'll come
question,
back.
when, and this might be a stupid question because I don't know. When the bus stops, you says the bus backs up Backtrack Road, right? So is that the very last stop that the bus makes and it drops off the kids? So the kids are not on the bus when
Oh,
it
well-
backs up,
No, the kids are on the bus.
when he backs up?
Yep.
So is that the very last stop?
That is the last stop, yeah, there's kids on there.
Okay, because I just don't understand why he's backing up the road.
Because you get
With the
nowhere to turn
kids.
around.
Yeah, but he can drop the kids off before he backs up the road with the kids on. Like, I don't understand why he does that.
Your worship, I would say it's the same when they pick up as well. So they
Yeah,
probably do
that's
the
what I
same,
mean,
right?
right? Yeah. I'm trying to get me,
So it's
because
all
I
on the,
don't know
so it's all
what,
on the highway? Is that what we're saying? Are we picking them
Yeah,
up
it's
on the
not-
highway?
Well, they stops in the middle of the road on the highway and puts on the flashers and then backs up that lane and picks up kids.
All because of this reason.
All
Your
because-
worship.
We do have several areas in town where that bus stops
the main
the
highway.
main highway,
That's not the only
puts
stop.
on their flashers and picks up children.
And backs up on the highway.
I'm
We
not.
won't let a, Mayor, we won't let a plow operator back up
Yes.
on a road.
Yes, I'm not aware, right offhand, like I said, we didn't get any information on this, so nobody's prepared to have this discussion.
What-
On this
Has
situation.
anybody, and
And
there's a few
should
people sitting on this council now, Mayor, that did talk to those residents when we were campaigning 6 months ago. And there's a few people sat in this room right now that it was told.
so, your worship, I think we need to move forward in a positive way. And the discussions that's being had is not moving in a positive way. For example, Councillor Smith just stated that no one cares about the safety of the children, which is untrue, very untrue. So I'd just like to point that out before I forget it again.
And I can understand, like, yes, backing up the bus, but like, shouldn't a bus driver, if he got an issue, and yes, it's a safety issue if they're gonna back up the bus with children, shouldn't he be contacting school and saying like, you know what I mean?
School board has addressed it and I don't know this is what I was told, so, but, school board has addressed it and has told the bossing outfit that something needs to be done, they need to go up that road and turn around. It just hasn't happened yet.
This
But
is the
I was- that's the first
that
time I've
council
heard-
is
first time
aware
I've heard of
of this bus.
There's the first time we're gonna hear of it.
Right.
And here it is, here it is, there's a major safety concern, there's a motion on the table, what do we do?
All right. I'm gonna say something and then we're going to move on and have a vote. When council has an issue that's unbeknownst to council and it's presented for the first time and we do not have all the facts, there's a lot of facts to consider in this decision. We can't simply just, I don't think it's fair to put a motion forward and decide to take over a road when this is introduced tonight and we have none of that supporting information. Is the road up to par? Because I'm not 100% sure of that. I don't know. Is that owner, has he expressed interest to the council that he's willing to give over that road? I think there needs to be more talk to get those issues dealt with in a timely manner. I agree. If the bus is backing up there and it shouldn't be, we obviously have to bump that to the top of the list to make sure the children are safe. There's no question in my mind. I mean, everybody here is in agreement with that.
Mayor, can Councillor Shepherd, when that motion was made, is he able to put if the road is up to standard in this motion? And that shows the if the road is up to standard. So if it is up to standard,
Minus paving.
minus the paving, what would be the other underlying issue?
We still gotta get in writing though, that the resident is willing to give up the road, you just can't go up there and plow the road and we don't even know that.
If, we know that, that's what we're talking about here now.
That's what we're talking about, is reaching out to them and getting this done.
Your worship, I don't feel comfortable voting on a subject that I'm just never. Seriously, this is the first I heard of that road.
Nobody drives around Spanish Bay Till? You knew there were 6 roads, so you knew there was roads.
Your
were they
worship,
plowed?
this is not. Can we take some words here? Because it's not right. Sorry.
Okay, so the motion, we're going to vote. We can talk about some of these issues onward. It comes down to a vote. Right now, the motion on the table is that we take over said road in past Hilton.
Can I amend that a little bit? Provided we have, like you said, provided it's up standard and we talk with the owner and we have the documentation that we need, minus pay.
Your worship, so when this now is said, we'd have to do another motion, right? To make all this happen. So it seems just, this is a waste of time, because we're all supposed to meet beforehand anyways, to discuss it. Public Works haven't had a discussion about it, and council as a whole hasn't had a discussion about it.
Mayor, it seems like everything that's brought up for the residents of the town to move forward with plowing and upgrading the roads and whatnot, everyone's, seems like we're trying to defer it always and go forward. There's never a decision to be made about these residents and giving them the services that they need when it's only for plowing or upgrading or something, when it's the easiest to take care of. Councillor Shepherd put a motion forward and said, if it's up to standard, if the owner of the road agrees to the motion that's put forward. I don't understand where the block is here always. I don't understand.
Councillor Smith, I don't think there's a block. It's the amount of information that is being shared seems to be an issue here tonight. Public Works Committee, we have members on the Public Works Committee and members that are not on the Public Works Committee have more information and it has not been shared. If there's an item, and I've said it right from the beginning, and this is not the first council to hear it, if you have information that has to be addressed, it's always best to have it discussed in those committee meetings, at the committee of the whole meetings. Nobody needs to surprise and feel like they're pressured into making a decision when they only have half the information. That's an issue. So once again, we've spent enough time on this. We do have a motion on the table. And the motion is, Councillor Shepherd, you can restate your motion.
My motion is that we immediately, based on speaking to the owner, and the road is up to par, minus pavement, that we take over the road as soon as possible.
And that was seconded by Councillor Smith.
Barb, that amendment?
All in favor of that motion?
Aye.
Councillor Shepherd, Councillor Smith, and Deputy Mayor are in favor of the motion. All those against the motion?
Aye.
Councillor Newman, Councillor Singleton,
Or nay?
Councillor Monaghan, and myself. The motion is denied.
I just got to say, it's not that I'm not in agreement of taking over the road. It's just that there's a lot of information missing.
That's why the motion is there, to get the information,
So,
make sure it's all.
like, to make sure everything's like
But
turned around
instead-
and everything like that, right?
Well, Mayor, instead, we're going to beat this around the bush for another month, and then we'll get the information, then we make the motion to go talk to the owner. So why don't we just go talk to the owner, get the information, and then if it's right, it's right, if it's wrong, it's wrong.
Councillor Shepherd, you are certainly free as Chair of Public Works to gather information. And if this needs to be addressed again, and I'm sure it does, provide more information and we can move forward again. We'll move on. Number 13, letters. First one is from residents of Minko Pond Road, snow clearing issues on page 68 and 70. Is Public Works prepared to speak on behalf of this one?
It wasn't, no.
Okay.
I can, no.
Okay.
If you know more detail on it, you can. I mean, I can't tell where there's a truck car or side by side with these black and white pictures. So,
I think this is concerned resident who put in a complaint about some snow damage and excessive speed in an area of town, and some snow was pushed onto a vehicle. I think the main reason for them to this is here some broken damage to the fence. Here, it also says, I think speed was the manner that they're not happy to see that the snow clearing was on such speed and caused snow up on windows and their vehicle that was parked close to the road, in the vicinity close to the road. This has been brought forward to our Director of Public Works. And I think we're certainly going to address it. I think there's an issue there that has to be addressed. And the operator that was working that night was certainly will follow through. We do have a policy in place for dealing with anything like this, for sure.
Your worship, excuse me, was there a incident report made or anything on that one?
No, it wasn't an incident report. It was excessive use of speed while snow clearing. And of course, when you go fast, the faster you go, the more snow trail you get.
Yep.
And with some areas in town, the snow is, houses are just close to the road. That's the way it is. So more time needs to be taken in those areas. While our workers are on the road.
Yeah, your worship, I don't think he is in any way looking for compensation for any damage.
No, I don't think so.
I think he's just looking for us to acknowledge the fact that our driver was doing a higher speed than what he should.
Exactly.
And I think we're after doing that on a couple of occasions,
Yeah,
and
we have.
I think that's been addressed since
Yeah.
we've received this letter. So
And
I suppose I can make a motion to send a letter off to this resident acknowledging that we did address the problem with our workers.
Second.
We have a motion on the table by Deputy Mayor Shepherd.
I want to ask a question before we go.
Okay,
Do
we
we
need a
have-
second first.
Okay,
So we'll
sorry.
discuss.
Oh,
Oh,
You said
okay, I never heard that, sorry. Second by Councillor Shepherd. Councillor Long?
Do we have a policy in place, like, for in winter time, for like not having vehicles so close to the shoulder of the road when they are plowing?
There is, but I do believe this vehicle was in the driveway.
And you can't see, I agree with
Yeah.
Councillor Shepherd, you can't see
No,
where the
I
vehicles
think the
do.
vehicle was in the driveway. It just happens that the driveway is on the road,
Okay.
right?
All right,
Right.
yeah, you can't,
Yeah.
can't see very well there.
Any further discussion?
Mayor, I think going forward on any of these items, and these pictures put forth, I think our expenditures and our allowance here for a computer and copiers and whatnot, there is sufficient enough for us to go ahead and buy colored ink. And going forward in our agenda, we should have colored pictures so all the town council members here can really see what we're discussing, because we are all so concerned in finest details. A colored picture will be greatly a great addition to the agenda.
Has anybody looked at the right page? Is it in color on?
No.
It's not color on the.
Same
on the
thing, it's a
outside?
scan and copy on.
Give us the scan.
I believe it was in color at the committee of the whole package.
I think it was.
So, but yes, we can certainly go forward.
Yeah. For sure.
Okay, I'll ask the question. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
And motion is carried. We'll move on to the second letter. Royal Canadian Legion, flower request, and possibly Councillor Lonergan.
Yep, I can speak on that. I was talking to Dreamscape, actually, they messaged me and wanted the town workers to bring in all the pots because they need a place to put them so that they'll have room for our stuff. And I mentioned, because they usually, every year, they donate flowers to the Legion. They put the 2 pots there in front of the memorial. So I asked them if they would do that the year, and they said yes. And I asked them if they would do the red, blue, and gold. And they said that wouldn't be a problem. So they will donate the flowers, it's just that they need the pots.
Okay, so we'll just put that on our work order.
Yep.
We'll get the pots in.
They need all the pots.
Yep, we'll get our pots into our flower provider, Dreamscape Gardens there, and that's great news that they'll coincide the colors of the 100th anniversary of the Legion. Perfect. All right, move on to C, proclamation, World Ovarian Cancer Day, on page 73 to 75. And we did receive a request from Bells with Balls, Newfoundland Labrador, that we could, and they kindly asked us to support and by proclaiming World Ovarian Cancer Day on May 8th, 2026. So we've agreed to do this tonight because our next meeting will be past that date. So I'll just read the proclamation. World Ovarian Cancer Day, May 8th, 2026. Whereas ovarian cancer has no early detection testing, and whereas ovarian cancer symbols are often confused with less severe illnesses, and whereas ovarian cancer has the lowest survival rate of all female cancers, and whereas as many as 23% of women with ovarian cancer have an inherited genetic mutation, and whereas genetic testing is a way to identify people at high risk before they develop ovarian cancer. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Tammy Oliver, Mayor of the town of Spaniards Bay, do hereby proclaim Wednesday, May 8th of 2026, World Ovarian Cancer Day. I encourage all residents of the town of Spaniards Bay and the province to talk to their health providers about ovarian cancer and seek to learn more about this disease. And I'll certainly sign that and date it. And that is the reason why you see these little ribbons on our pills in support of that tonight. Thank you. We will now move on to resident of Bunkers Hill, fence repairs, page 76.
Myself and the late councillor went in there to have a look last year. And the fencing was destroyed by the snow in there. So I took a site visit up there today when I came back. And she has all the pegs marked. It looks like the pegs are still good, it's just that the fencing is after falling down. So it may just need to be put back up and hooked into the fencing. So we already had that motion last year, so I guess we'll put a motion for again for this year.
So it was motion last year, but it wasn't.
It wasn't repaired,
It
no.
wasn't repaired?
No.
Do we know if it was been checked and see if it's on the work list?
I'm not sure if it was on the work list or not.
It is on the work list? Okay, our clerk is,
It's on your list.
has signed that it is on the work list? Okay. We'll acknowledge the letter for sure. If it is an ongoing issue, it's just, so when was this? It says the winter of 2025?
2025, yes.
So was that previous early on, or was it like this fall past?
No, myself and the late councillor Duro went in and had a look.
So it's
And,
previous winter, okay?
Yes, yeah.
So it wasn't done over summer?
It wasn't done over the
Okay.
summer, no. Because they were so busy with the leaks and everything.
All right, well, this is an ongoing issue that got overlooked for some reason, but we'll certainly see where it's through on that list. I will say, if it's something that was held up from last year, it obviously deserves to be pushed to the forefront.
Yeah.
You know, in saying that, we can't give a timeline because right now we are dealing with leaks. And the town's water supply is number one. But that still does not address the issue that this has not been taken care of from last year. So we will address, thank you to the resident who's submitted this again, and hopefully in the near future we can get those repairs done. We'll move on to other business, and we'll start with Councillor Shepherd.
No, nothing for me.
Councillor Longigan.
Yeah, I just got one thing there. Just want to let everyone know that our federal grants are out for summer students, and we have 2 Wharf, 2 Heritage, and 6 Recreation. I think the Recreation Director got a poster up for the Heritage. I don't think there's anything up for Recreation yet, and I don't think there's anything up for the Wharf yet for
I think
students.
Wharf
Yes,
and
Wharf.
Recreation
Oh,
is
Wharf.
up.
Yep.
Okay, I didn't see it,
That's
sorry.
one I was
I'll take that
asking
back.
about today.
Okay, I'll take that back.
Yep.
We haven't heard any provincial yet, and that's it for me.
Councillor
Oh,
Smith.
excellent. No, I haven't got nothing, just in addition there to the, with the Marina grant that we got there for 2 students. So I just want to ensure, once these students are hired and going forward and put on the wharf for upgrades and maintenance and whatnot, I want to make sure that safety regulations are in place for these students about proximity to water, rules and regulations, if any life jackets are required, make sure the troll rings are down in place before we do put any kids on this grant. I want to make sure that all the stipulations are in place to keep them safe while they're at work. That's all.
Thank you, sir. Councillor Newman.
Yes, I just want to send out a reminder, with the temperatures warming up, children are out on their bikes and playing, and they don't watch what they're doing, so please be mindful and keep an eye out for them. And that's it for me.
Councillor Simpson.
I do have a couple things. The Goodwill Seniors Club, they have their scats still going ahead on Mondays, their scat game. They also, their meeting is on Thursday. So that's just for the members, senior club members. All Saints Church is continuing with their 120 card game. There's the LOL number 153, Choose a Few, are hosting a senior spring fling. I don't know if anybody is attending, but it's just for seniors.
I
So-
do believe that's for seniors in Tilton.
Yes.
Yes, okay. So seniors in Tilton, okay. But I just want to say that they're holding that, and also the Wooden Car Derby is on Saturday, the 25th. So even if you can't participate, it'd be nice to go have a look. I wanted to mention about the children, and with the nice weather coming. Also, we have activities planning. We're in the process of planning. So if you have any free time and you'd like to volunteer, please reach out to us. Because we do want, like there's Mother's Day, Father's Day, Canada Day. So we want to make sure that we have all the residents involved in those holidays. I noticed going up the Ridge Road that there's no sign for Ridge Road at the corner. So my sister-in-law picked me up and she couldn't find Ridge Road because there was no sign visible. So I wanted to have that mentioned as well. And I just wanted to mention about the garbage boxes full at Ryan's Brook. So I just wanted to make sure that was cleaned. And I think that's it. Oh, happy Mother's Day to everyone, because we won't be here, so happy Mother's Day.
Deputy Mayor?
Yeah, I just want to mention that basically we just touched on restructuring in our town during this meeting. We did go through it in the committee of the whole meeting because of a letter that I submitted with 4 motions on it. I never presented those motions at this meeting. At our next public meeting, I will be submitting those motions again for furtherance for restructuring. That's pretty much it.
Anything else? Is that all?
Can I say something else before we do that?
Mayor, is that all for you?
Yeah, that's just me,
Can I
thank
say
you.
something else? Just want to say the snow is going. People are out walking. People are walking their dogs. I got 2. So please pick up your dog's poop, please.
Thank you. I have a couple of topics here. I'd like to mention that I was contacted by the mayor of Bishop's Cove, who wanted to extend a sincere thank you to some of our workers who aided in keeping the roads safe for the residents driving along Bishop's Cove shore. We did have an incident that a large boulder rolled down in the middle of the road. We even made entity notes. And we wanted to reach out and make sure that they were thanked for assisting in keeping the road safe then at that time. So we certainly extend a thank you on our behalf as well. That was very nice of them. I wanted to do a shout out for the new company that we just used for helping us detect some of the leaks on New Harbour Road, RPM. They do have a Facebook page if anybody's interested in looking them up. They're called RPM Aerial Services. That's the name of their Facebook page. They can provide images. They set up a drone. They give you land images of what's going on beneath the surface, which is great way of detecting any leaks. They have a few more services than that, but that's what we had them at here. And it was great. It solved a lot of time and discovered leaks that we simply didn't know we had. So hopefully in the future, I'm hoping to say that we don't need their services again, but all likelihood, we will be needing their services again. So that's a new tool that we've used and had great success so forward, so we'd like to thank them. I want to mention that April 19th to the 25th is National Volunteer Week. And on behalf of council, I'd like to recognize the incredible contributions of our volunteers, their time, their energy, their generosity. It's truly made a difference in our community, and I'd like to thank you all for everything they've done. With that being said, our next committee of the whole meeting is on May 6th at 10 a.m. Our next public meeting is on the 12th at 7 p.m. That information is on our website. I'll call for a motion to. adjourn.
Before we go forward, I think we were supposed to discuss tonight about changing those committee of the whole meetings because Councillor Shepherd.
I'll never make
You'll never
a
make it
Wednesday.
because he was
I'll never make a
traveling?
Wednesday, it's impossible.
So is there any way we can change it to, I forgot about that actually.
Yeah.
Is there any way we can change it to
I forgot about
Thursdays?
it too, but if you want, rather than do it now, we can send out an email. or
Send an
something.
email?
I think we should probably discuss it. I think there's a few dates floating around.
Okay.
I know you had mentioned Councillor Shepherd about the Thursday, but that Thursday is the 8th of November, so it's
Oh,
not
right,
possible to have
okay.
that date. So that's something we can figure out internally.
Okay.
Discuss with the-
Great. And then I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Councillor Luncheon, second by Councillor Singleton,
Just the meeting.
to adjourn. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye. That motion is adjourned.
Yeah, and this is the meeting.
Thank you,
Well
everyone.
done, Mr. Earlier.
Someone start nudging your joke.
How are we going to bed?